A quick announcement before we begin with this vlog. I just wanted to pop in and say that subscriber pick videos are some of my favorite videos to make, but the amount of effort that goes into it, I feel that that effort is sort of, it becomes repetitive, because the same thing that I'm talking in my vlog section of the videos, I'm also talking in my review section. So I have come to a decision that I won't be doing a subscriber pick for the month of October, but from November, whatever the subscriber picks I do will only be reading vlogs. So there won't be any particular book review, but obviously I will talk about the subscriber pick books in my wrap-ups. All my wrap-ups are spoiler free, so you will get short reviews of these books in my wrap-ups. So now that that is out of the way, let's jump right into the vlog for the subscriber pick for the month of September, which is Remnants of a Separation by Aanchal Malhotra. Hello people, this is Sonali, the Melodramatic Bookworm. If you've been here before, welcome back, and if you're new to my channel, welcome to the Melodramatic Bookworm family. Also welcome to the subscriber pick for the month of September, Remnants of a Separation by Aanchal Malhotra. Before I get on with talking about this, for those of you who don't know, subscriber picks are where I ask you to choose a particular book from about 4 or 5 options, and the one that you choose, I read, vlog and review in the following month. This is something that I have been wanting to read ever since I watched Jyotsna from Jyotsna's Bookscapades lose it over this book. Like, I think she's done a video also. I saw that like 2-3 times on loop. It was even before that when I saw her Instagram story, and I'm like, oh, she's gushing about it, and she has such great taste. So I knew I had to get this, and I was so happy when you guys chose this to be the subscriber pick for the month of September, because it makes sure that I read this book. If not today, then tomorrow I'm definitely going to start this, and I wanted to get a start on this whole thing. So yeah, I will see you on the other side, and I'm hoping that you will enjoy this vlog as well. But I forgot one very important thing. What is this about? This is partition literature, and in this book the author revisits the partition through objects that were carried through the partition, that people saved through that whole experience. And I'm like, that's such a unique way of looking at it. I'm super stoked to start reading this, because I want to know, I wanted to learn more. So that's what I wanted to say, and I hope that I will get to reading this, as I should have started a long time ago, but September has been a mad month for me. I will be starting this maximum tomorrow. Okay, hey people, I know like I started the vlog and then I did not do anything because I was scrambling to finish a ton of other books in the meanwhile. But yeah, today is the 27th of September. It's already 6:30 in the evening, and I'm going to be starting the book now, and I'm hoping that I will be able to get through quite a bit of the book. I know that the book itself is very hard-hitting as well, and also I must tell you that I just remembered this. I finished reading The Heart Asks Pleasure First yesterday, and there was a reference to this book, Remnants of a Separation. I mean, there was a very clear reference, and then in the acknowledgement section also, the author Karuna Ezra Parikh, she spoke about how she was grateful to Aanchal Malhotra, the author of Remnants of a Separation, for allowing her to take that reference in there. I'm pretty enthusiastic about reading this book and about ending up liking it. So I'm going to leave it at that. I'm going to now sit here as usual and start reading this book. I need a notebook to make notes. So smart, no, I am. Yeah, I know. I need a notebook to do that, because I know I'll be furiously scribbling stuff down during this. So that's what I'm going to go do. Even trees bear allegiance to their soil, you see, just like people. It's difficult to uproot them and place them where they don't belong. Sometimes life is full of sorrow. It is a book about loss, about memories, but also about hope. Objects help to redeem time. Objects help to redeem time. That does make sense, doesn't it? So I'm saying that this book I thought I could like read fast enough, but I knew that this is not a book that should be read fast enough. This is a book that should be read slowly and then digested, and it should not be rushed through basically. I was thinking that can I finish it in 4 days and will I be able to, and all that blah 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 blah. But I also was of the thought that if the language is simple enough, I will be able to read it fast. But the language is simple enough, but what the language tells, that is not easy to digest. Okay, I'm on page 13 now. I have read quite a few pages before that because there was a preface and then this is, and then the forward, and then now this is the introduction. But I'm going to take a break. I'm going to pack all the books that were part of the unhaul and then come back to read this. I'll probably film my October TBR before coming back to reading this, but I also have to read War and Peace, so I don't know, but I will come back, that's for sure. And I will what do you call it, record, vlog. Hello peeps, today is the 28th of September and I have been reading a bit of Remnants of a Separation by Aanchal Malhotra, and I've just gotten past the first 42 something pages, and I must say that this is what it says it is. Like, it talks about partition and the pain of the people and the memories of people through objects that people brought over or took over to either side of the border. The introduction was a little very long-winded. It felt to me like it got a little repetitive at times, but I'm okay with that because there were a lot of points in here that just touched my heart. And it just talks about how when you talk about a certain belonging, there's a memory attached to it, and the memory is a little clear when you have that particular belonging. So it's like the feeling of belonging when you think of certain belongings, and I really like that. It's a little slow for me because I don't want to rush this any more than I want to like just inhale whatever it is without understanding anything. But I do want to take my time reading this, which is why I also added it to my October TBR. That's the only update I have right now because I haven't gotten much further. Like Aanchal Malhotra's introduction is about her process of getting the interviews done with a lot of people, not just people who went through partition but also their descendants. What her thinking was behind this whole idea of bringing this book out, and it's really touching. I will reserve my review or opinion until later. I'm not going to say anything right now, although I think I have said quite a bit, but yeah. Hey people, today is the technically the 4th of October. It's just past 12 in the night, and yeah, I just wanted to update you on what's been going on with this book. I'm about 110 pages in and I haven't been able to pick up after that, but I must say that this is something that is really gut-wrenching. People talking about the things that they brought over from partition and the memories that are associated with those things, and I didn't think I would get this emotional over it. Maybe that's why I'm a little scared to pick it up further, because I know that I'm going to be wrecked by these true stories of actual things that happened during the partition, because these are things that these people saw, things that happened, like blood, violence, war, battles, and communal violence, and so much more. The experiences that they had moving from one place to another, leaving their whole lives behind, and doing what they had to do in order to survive, letting go of people, letting go of things, letting go of their homes, uprooting themselves, and establishing lives in completely unknown or strange to them, stranger parts of what used to be, one country. It sort of wrecks my heart even at the very thought. But yeah, what I've been doing is I've also been reading through the notes at the end. There's one bookmark over here and there's one bookmark at where I left off. Yeah, I'm at this page. I'm on page 111. I think I needed a break from the heaviness of this. Oh, that didn't occur to me when I was making my October TBR, did it? Hello people, it's been ages since I checked in. I haven't been reading Remnants of a Separation at all, but I thought it's about time that I gave this some time. Okay, no pun intended, but that one's going to creak for a bit. Wait. Okay, so what I was trying to say is, I don't know, I think it was because of the pain, the heartbreak that was in this, that was so obvious in this book, that I just did not touch it any further. But okay, I think I can take it right now, and I want to know everything that's in this book. Maybe this was her way of imparting the importance of patience, perseverance, practice, and perfection. Maybe that's why she made this single handedly, so that only her singular thoughts could flow into this piece of elaborately embroidered fabric, which is so true in some ways. That, yeah, what I was saying is, this is so true that just a piece of cloth can help you connect with so much. Like, even me, I live in the same city as my mom, okay, and clothes that she gave me on my wedding, or she has ever given me in my entire life, anything that she's given me, I treasure to no end. And every time I take out something that she gave me and I gaze at it, I'm just choked with emotion. And the reminiscences that they are making in here, it's so poignant, it's so painful also in so many places. There's just no comparison at all, but I understand it. Like, I don't have words enough to explain how much I understand it, and yeah, it's just piercing my heart, is what I can say. For the second time that day, I found myself thinking about the unspoken secrets that women shared, and whether it was possible for an inanimate object to carry those secrets through time and the generations of a family. Hey Beeps, I'm now on page 141 of this book. I've read about two chapters in this meanwhile. One was The Bag of Hansla Chowdhury, and the other one was Hereditary Keepers of the Raj, The Enduring Memories of John Gregor Taylor. And while I've already spoken about Hansla Chaudhry's chapter, this one, John Gregor Taylor, he recollects his time in India and the whole perception of what it was like to be an Englishman in India and to be a part of the British Indian Army. And this is something else. I just found something that really resonated with me for some reason. Not resonated per se, but it was sort of a question that I had here at the back of my mind, but it never came forth because there was no particular point in my life where I was compelled enough to find out more about it, because I was always like, oh, the British colonized India and looted and all of that. But this question about the disparity in thinking of the English people in India, the colonizers who were administrating over India, and the people back in England, like what difference there was, that sort of is put in a nutshell in this one particular paragraph, which I will read out to you. He was talking, this John Gregor Taylor was talking about his experience, or rather his opinions about what it was to be an Englishman in India. So after that, the author, she says this, I mean, she's thinking about this. How was it possible, I thought to myself, that a small section of people from an island that raised an empire on which the sun never set could exercise control and sovereignty over such a large subcontinent, and despite all that, these actions hardly seem to sway the lives of their people at home? Did the years of the Raj, recorded extensively in laws, letters, journals, books, and papers of British officers in India, having shook the very foundations of Hindustan, not create even the slightest tremor in the English terrain? And I think that's what it means, to be a colonizer at in the first place, because these people who wield so much power across the world, it's a tiny nation, island nation. And these people, they somehow had so much power, they colonized half the world. And I think the point that they had so much power that their people back in their country, in their land, were sort of immunized to whatever else was going on in the whole world. Because their government, their rulers, they sort of made sure that it did not. The tremors didn't spread to their country. And when they realized that the tremors could spread to their country, they pulled out of wherever they were. Does that make sense? I think it made sense in my head. But yes, now I'm going to film a video for tomorrow in about half an hour. And then I'm going to come back and read this. But this is so good. Yes, the pain is making me want to just hug it like this and not read it further. Then again, I want to learn more about this. So many momentous things happen in our lives, and somehow time just swallows them whole. We forget the things that we should never forget. So I just finished reading the chapter of the collection of Professor Partha Mittar. In this chapter, the professor talks about how it was back then and how people during those times had to find that balance. Like when you're living under colonialism, it's difficult not to adapt or adopt certain practices, but when you find those acceptable and yet you want to stick to your own culture, to your own beliefs, then you have to find that balance between the two. Like it's difficult not to have both tendencies. You're also wanting to do certain things that the English do, but you also have your roots firmly entrenched in your culture, like Bengali culture. And I really like that he's not exactly giving up his own place, or he's not exactly giving up his ancestors' place in order to justify what the British did. So I feel like this is important to understand that being true to your roots is what is most important. And though this chapter does talk about violence and communal violence in such, it's also told in a manner that is very unbiased. You see it for what it is and not for what media or anybody presents to you. And I feel like this whole book is like one very great example of how to write an unbiased account of what had happened during that time. There were mistakes made on all sides. There was ego and absolute clownery. Clownery is such a basic word for what people did during that time, but yeah, this is one such book, and my bookmark's falling off. Lieutenant General S.N. Sharma. Please ignore the sounds in the background. It's almost Diwali, and yeah. The memorabilia of Lieutenant General S.N. Sharma, and he ends this chapter with this particular paragraph, which I feel is so true. He says, it is not religion, it is human nature, it is power that drives madness. Christians have killed more Christians in the name of Christianity than anything else. That's what history tells us. In India, all the way from the north to the south, the east to the west, as people, we were reasonably peaceful until the quest became for power. The empire dissolved, leaving us with an aching need to affirm our own nationhood, both India and Pakistan. It was power, not religion. The hunger for power and authority is what drove us to madness. We have been looking at independence through a very through a lens of pride, which it should be, because that was when we got rid of the British. But the British, in their uh, haste to save their own treasury, in their haste to think that they couldn't do this anymore, or they didn't have the money to do this anymore, they left the land in a much worse condition than they came upon it. And this having been done just after World War II, I mean, they won it. The Allied forces won World War II, but since it had depleted so many of their resources, they sort of made sense that they should pull away. But to see how they did it in such haste and without any concern for the common man, I mean, Indian politicians were also not any good, but we see it as, yay, India is like, we are great, and which is great, we are great, but we got independence, but we do not see the horrors, we do not acknowledge the horrors that the partition did gave us. And I'm so glad I'm educating myself. I mean, it's been a slow run over the years, but I think it's only this year that when I started reading extensively partition lit, that I'm realizing so many things. There's such pain, bloodshed, gore, violence, and there's such like this Lieutenant General says there's such hunger for power, and I feel like that hunger, it rose and rose and rose, and it came to a crescendo as the British left India, and then it just exploded. And there was no plan for the partition, which was why it turned into such chaos, such a bloody chaos. As I go through this, I have a perpetual frown on my forehead because there are people still living these memories. Like they've seen the deaths, they've seen trains of dead bodies come into India and go into Pakistan, all in the name of power. And however much Lieutenant General says it's not about religion, it, to a certain extent, the hunger for power for a particular religion made people do all of this. They descended into total chaos, into total madness, and the result is etched in history. Although it's always been covered by the curtain of the grandeur of independence, the day that India gained independence and became free of the British, but at what cost? How many people did we lose? What is the humanity, the extent of humanity that we lost? This book is doing things to me, and I wasn't prepared for this kick to my gut, but then it is totally necessary. So I need like maybe a half an hour break, and then I'm going to read this again. I've actually got to edit a video for tomorrow, which is going to be by November TBR. So I'll probably do that and then come back. Do you ever get this feeling where you are floating alongside your own body because you have this sort of out of world experience and you think that this whole reality that you've been living, it's sort of so disconnected from what you are feeling in that moment? And felt that with this book because I just read the origin of the word India. I mean, I knew it, but to read it again and to learn of how it all started, and I've been muttering the word India, India, India to myself. And although it's it's like a very personal thing about the name of your own country, like a very patriotic feeling arises every time I say India. But on reading this again, I felt very disconnected. I've been staring off at the wall opposite me, and I don't know what to think. Like, this is so true about a language. I'm reading this chapter about the Hamam Dasta of Savitri Mirchandani, and she says this, that there's no word in Sindhi for partition. She tells the author that Sindhi is a dying language, and when the author asks, why would you say that? She says, the Punjabis use Batwara because Punjab was split in half. It was divided, and so for them, this is a literal term. In India, the Punjabis still have some Punjab. The Bengalis still have some Bengal. And so their languages continue to be spoken, continue to flourish. But Hindu Sindhis have no Sindh. No part of it exists on this side of the border. And so perhaps that is why Sindhi is a dying language. Language is bound to soil, said Shobha, her voice full of a sadness not necessarily felt by her mother, and we no longer have any soil of our own. I'm just done with this book, and oh my god, the amount of tears that I've shed, mostly not on camera. It's it breaks my heart to know of no, not know, to realize the extent of the barbaric violence that took place during the partition. How fair is it? Like, I know history is littered with acts like this, but I cannot even imagine the the heaviness that must have settled on these people's heart to have to go through with this. I can't even imagine leaving my place of my own accord and going away because there's so many memories attached. And these people were forced to flee, leaving everything behind. Like, I can't even begin to, grasp the extent of that pain and how much sadness, how much fear, how much anger, how much longing, and just plain pain it caused them to have to do that, to leave home because someone decided that this was going to happen. This will inform you in so many ways. There are so many stories that have gone untold about what happened during the partition, and this with the 21 with the stories of the 21 people who are telling the stories in here, it does a lot of eye opening, and it does a lot of foundational work for those who don't know what might have happened during that time. And there's a lot of information as well in the notes. Like, I've put this bookmark here to go through the notes here, and even through the notes there's so much in there to understand and to learn, even in those few pages of notes. And I know that I'm going to go back and read a lot of the books that are referenced in here. It might be like years before I actually get to all of them, but I will read them. I've even noted a few down. Please ignore the sounds in the background. It's a day before Diwali and they are bursting firecrackers. Yeah, I'm going to wrap this vlog up by saying that please go read Remnants of a Separation by Aanchal Malhotra. It's such an important book, such an informative book, such an eye opener about your past and about the people who went through those times in which they were ripped apart from their homes, ripped apart from their friends and neighbors, and how violence and bloodshed and gore became the order of the day because politicians decided that a random line on the map was going to divide the land and divide the people. Yeah, this is heavily required reading. Highly recommend. I mean, I don't think I can rate this book, but if I had to, I would give it a full 5 out of 5 stars. Aanchal Malhotra's writing is also very lucid, and I was so conflicted with this because didn't want it to end, but I also wanted it to end. I'll tell you why. I didn't want it to end because Aanchal Malhotra's writing in itself is it puts forth the pain, the trauma and everything of the people who went through all of that in a very in a manner that you will understand, you will grasp whatever she's putting across. But I also wanted it to end because the pain in there, it just settled inside me and it was gnawing at me from within. I just look back on everything that I know about my country and look back on everything that has gone on that I know of, and I think, why didn't I notice that everything was always tinted with blood? Please go read this book. It's required, it's important, and the way that she has brought forward the history of the partition through material memory, I didn't think this could have been done, and kudos to Aanchal Malhotra for doing this. It's, oh my god, epic. Highly recommend. So thanks for watching this vlog. I know this has been a long time coming, but this book was one such. And yeah, I don't have anything else to say, so I'm going to round this vlog off. So I'll see you in the next video. Until next time, If you get a chance, please go read this book. Bye.